Hey guys, welcome back. Today is all about talking through what to put inside your hospital bag. These are just my recommendations, so feel free to put your own twist on things, but this is what worked for me and even things that I wish that I would have had while I was in the labor and delivery process and postpartum process in the hospital. The number one hack I have for you guys is to bring a laundry basket. Not only is it handy to carry your stuff, but it also serves as a place to put your dirty items before you go home, and it makes your hospital room a little bit more organized. This was a very helpful tool for me. Something that I packed directly in this little bin was my very own pillow and my very own blanket. I also brought a blanket for my husband, and I recommend that you both bring your own pillow and your own blankets. I went out to Target and I picked up these sort of plush twin-sized bed blankets. I wanted them to be big enough that they'd be comfortable in the hospital, but I didn't want to quite bring our king-size comfy blankets. So it was a great way for us to feel comfortable while we were in the hospital, and especially for you mamas, you're gonna want to be comfortable while you're in labor, and the best way to do that is to have your own blanket, your own pillow. One thing that I did kind of realize is that the labor process is not always pretty and it's not always clean. So you might want to bring a backup blanket for yourself. I don't find it super necessary because you typically have the hospital blankets underneath you and then you have your blanket on top of that, so it stays pretty clean. But I did end up feeling a little bit gross at the end of the labor process, and then when I was in the rest of my hospital stay, I kind of wished I had a different blanket. So that's just a recommendation for you. So I just piled my hospital bag right on top of the laundry bin and my pillows and such, and it was a great way to carry everything into the hospital. Made it easy on my husband, made it easy on myself. The first thing that I know that you hear lots of women say is bring some cute pajamas, and I totally recommend that because there's gonna be people coming to see you most likely. Obviously things are strange with COVID, but people will most likely be coming in to visit, even if it's just your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your parents, your siblings, whoever it might be, and you might just want to feel a little bit presentable for them, or for if you take hospital pictures with your baby. So I just got this little black set of pajamas. Actually, I had a friend send them to me. It was so sweet. But you can find them on Amazon, you can go on Target and just find anything that buttons in the front. This is super helpful because you're learning to breastfeed or you're learning to pump pretty much no matter what. They want you to at least try, so they're probably gonna have you try. Ultimately, it's your choice, but this is still really comfortable with the whole postpartum process and all of your recovery stuff. It's just easy to get in and out of. And you want to maybe size up in this from what you would normally do. I know it's kind of confusing because you've just been pregnant and so you've been in maternity clothes, or you've sized up a ton for your pregnancy and you're about to not be pregnant anymore. But you're going to carry a little bit of that weight after you deliver as well. So you're going to want something that you feel comfortable in, and your stomach is definitely going to be sensitive. So you're going to want to have something that's kind of loose and definitely not pulling on you. I typically wear a medium, and the pajamas that I took to the hospital, they were loose and cozy, but they were a medium, and I kind of wish that I would have brought a large, just because I think I would have been a little bit more comfortable overall. The next thing packed in my bag in no specific order is a pair of not so cute but comfy pajamas. So right after you give birth, chances are people are not coming to see you immediately. You're probably gonna need a minute to rest and kind of get your stuff together, and you're probably going to be in the hospital for a couple of days. So in addition to your cute pajamas, I would definitely bring some that you don't mind getting a little bit dirtier, because it's just, you know, it's kind of a messy process. So hopefully you're cleaned off by this point, but I just brought some like cotton sweatpants, super comfy, and just a baggy t-shirt. Again, everything needs to be loose fitted because you want to be as comfortable as possible. You could pack 2 sets of the cutesy pajamas if they're comfy, but I just chose to do it this way. The next thing that I have in my bag is the outfit that I wore to go home in. I chose to go home in something really comfy. I just have some nice leggings here that are in a little bit of a larger size, and I have a baggy t-shirt. that's kind of my staple. In case you can't tell, I wear a lot of black, I wear a lot of comfy. It's just kind of my look. So that's what I went for when I left the hospital. It was winter time, so I think I wore an oversized sweatshirt and I wore some leggings, and that worked really well for me. But maybe you want to be cute because you're going to take pictures outside of your house when you bring the baby home or as you're leaving the hospital. But personally, I was not really feeling up to taking pictures. My face was still a little bit puffy, and I just didn't really have a whole lot of time to get ready in the hospital. But your situation may be totally different, and I recommend bringing something that you feel the best in, whether that's you being comfortable or you feeling cute. This next one is like my #1 labor hack. Bring a zip up hoodie sweatshirt. You want one that you can slip on in case the hospital room is cold, but you can't really put on a hoodie because you're gonna have all kinds of monitors strapped to you if you're having a traditional hospital birth, and you're going to not really be able to put anything over all of that. So to have the zip up hoodie is gonna be a major convenient thing for you, and it allows you to stay comfortable throughout the labor process, and you can throw it on later with your t-shirts. Light layers are great for the hospital because you don't really know what the temperature is going to be depending on what time of year it is. It's super important to bring your basic toiletries like a hairbrush, deodorant, all of that kind of stuff. And I would also recommend bringing your own shampoo and conditioner and body wash. They will recommend if you have a vaginal birth that you would use something that's fragrance-free, something that's not going to irritate, and I just think it's a great idea to go ahead and bring your own. The hospital did offer us some of that, but it just wasn't things that I was most comfortable using, so I went ahead and brought my own shampoo and conditioner, and I wish I would have brought my own body wash. You can use something like Dove or maybe something that's fragrance-free. Something I didn't realize that I needed until I was in the process and we could not find it in my purse was hand lotion. It was winter time when I gave birth. My hands were so cracked, they were hurting. And when you're already uncomfortable, you're in labor, that is the last thing that you want to be thinking about, is your hands feeling dry. So for some reason, they just kept drying out when I was in the hospital. So definitely bring some hand lotion. You just don't want to be without the basics, hand sanitizer, hand lotion, that kind of stuff. Another thing I wish I would have brought was a nail file. This is so strange, but I actually ended up having a hangnail or something that kept catching on my sock and was driving me nuts. And I was able to get one from my mom, and she fixed it and it didn't bother me anymore. I know that sounds like a small detail, but you just never know what you're gonna need in that moment, and you wanna be totally prepared. I would also encourage you to go ahead and bring your getting ready stuff. I have my makeup bag, my hot tool, to be able to do my hair, because you don't know if you may want to take pictures while you're in the hospital, and chances are you won't have time to get ready, but if you do and you want to spruce yourself up a little bit so you can take those photos, you may want to do that to have those lasting memories. We actually got pushed out of the hospital so fast because there was such a high volume of women there and they needed our room so badly. They were kind of rushing us out the door. They were super polite about it. We loved our hospital, but we were actually about to take pictures with the baby in the hospital room and we had to head out. So I was in the process of doing my hair and makeup, ended up coming home and taking some really sweet photos with the baby at home. But definitely bring your getting ready stuff just in case you feel like getting ready. I would also encourage you to bring a nice camera or have your phone ready on portrait mode, or even have a family member or a friend who's good at taking pictures to bring their camera so you can get some really candid shots of those first hours of your baby's life, because it goes by so fast, like everyone says, and your baby truly will not look the same the first week as she will the second week. Another thing I recommend bringing is breast pads, because you don't know when your milk is going to come in. It usually comes in between 2 and 3 days after you give birth, but you want to be prepared. You don't want to be uncomfortable and like leaking through your clothes. So go ahead and bring some breast pads with you, even if you just bring like 6 or 8 of them. It's just good to be prepared. I don't think I used mine in the hospital. I think my milk came in when I got home, but it's always good to be prepared for that kind of thing. This is a huge one. So I actually don't have them anymore, so this is gonna be my little stand-in. So bring slippers. These are just little slides that I picked up from Old Navy for a couple of bucks. But it's a good idea to either bring shower shoes or some type of slipper that you could walk the halls in, because it's really good for you to be walking after you've given birth. And also too, if you just want to go down the hall to get some ice, you've been stuck in your hospital room for a couple of days, it's just good to kind of get out, and you don't want to be walking on those dirty hospital floors in just socks. I mean, they do provide you with hospital socks so you don't have to get yours dirty, and they do have grippers on them, but I found it super helpful to have slippers because I just didn't feel super clean walking on the hospital floor. And honestly, after being in those hospital socks for all of the birthing process, I never wanted to see them again. So this is just a small example, but I actually packed an entire small backpack full of snacks for me and my husband. And this was a great idea because not only was the labor process for us over 30 hours, but I was so hungry after I gave birth. I just packed a few bars. We have the Nature's Bakery Fig Bars, like a beef jerky or Slim Jims. I have some salted nuts in here. Whatever is gonna be like a good quick protein or a good way to get your blood sugar up. You're gonna definitely want something for your spouse while they're waiting for you. And also, I gave birth like in the middle of the night. So I actually gave birth at like 1 in the morning, and I didn't make it to my postpartum room until like 3 or 4 in the morning, and the kitchen was closed and I was dying of hunger. All I'd had was like Jell-O, applesauce, water, orange juice for the last like 30 something hours. And so I was so hungry, so ready to eat, and nothing was really available to me at the moment. And it was going to be 3 or 4 hours until then. So I remember my mom had this huge bag of pistachios, and I snacked on those, and I ate one of the bars in my bag and some peanuts, that kind of thing. And it just tied me over until the morning. So definitely bring your snacks. I know they have vending machines also at the hospital, but I know like I have a dairy allergy, and I didn't want something super like fatty or something like chips. I wanted something that I knew could kind of give me some energy, like the bars that I eat on a regular basis. So that was just a tip for me. The next couple of things are actually for the baby. So I packed a couple of going home outfits, and I would definitely recommend packing a couple of sizes and a couple of different outfits, because you never know if your baby is going to spit up on their outfit right as you're putting them into it, right before you leave the hospital. You also don't really know what your baby's going to weigh, so they may fit best in a preemie outfit or a newborn outfit, or even 0 to 3, depending on what stage they're in. I only brought newborn clothes, and my baby ended up being about 6 pounds, and they swallowed her, but they did the job. So if you want to stick with newborn like I did, it will probably fit most babies, but otherwise you're going to be taking them home in whatever the hospital has, or they'll be drowning in their clothes, or they'll be a little too small. So I recommend bringing a couple of outfits and a couple of different sizes. I also brought some little socks because maybe you have a footed pajama outfit but another outfit that doesn't have feet like I did, and so I brought some little socks. So they are going to give you hospital blankets. Your baby will come swaddled in a hospital blanket, and they will teach you all about swaddling, which is super important. But if you want to take those cute pictures, definitely bring your own swaddle for your baby in a color that suits you, and something that you want to remember, and something that you can tuck over them as they go home. We brought not only this swaddle, but a thicker blanket because it was December when our baby was born. So we wrapped the swaddle around her legs once we put her in our car seat, and then we put the big blanket on top and kind of tucked it as well. So in the hospital, they offered me a lactation specialist, which was so helpful, and I hope that your hospital does the same thing. And they did try to teach me how to use the hospital's pump that they had there, but I really recommend you bringing your own pump with you. I have the Mom Cozy pumps. They're wearable, and you don't have to stay stationary. You can walk around and get stuff done while you have them. And actually, the last few hours I was at the hospital, I was actually pumping for my daughter. I didn't know if she was gonna latch yet, but I knew I wanted to at least pump some so that my husband could bottle feed. It was something that I just wanted to make sure I could do. So I recommend bringing it so they can teach you how to use your pump, because as helpful as it is to use the hospital's pump, you need to know how to use what you're going to use when you go home. And I would say push for it. It's priority. I also lived and died by the Haakaa. I will probably do another video explaining my thoughts on pumping and that sort of thing, because that was mainly what I did. But the Haakaa is great for catching milk. So if your milk comes in while you're in the hospital, you can go ahead and just catch whatever milk you can, and ask them for containers. They typically have plenty of containers on hand for you to put your milk in. I know they gave me a complimentary set just in my room. I already had them there. But you can also bring disposable containers or like little milk bags that you could buy at Target, that you normally freeze your milk with. And if you need them to put them in a fridge or a freezer, they can absolutely do that for you. So go ahead and bring that Haakaa with you just in case you need to catch some milk. It is a lifesaver. There are videos on YouTube that explain how to use it. It's my favorite thing, like ever. Okay, and last but not least, this is probably the best idea that anyone had, and I'm so thankful that a friend of mine told me to do this before I went to the hospital. Bring your own towels. The hospital will offer you tons of linens, but just like bringing your own blanket and your pillow, this is gonna allow maximum comfort. The shower after you give birth is like no other shower in your entire life, and you need to feel as clean and comfortable as possible after everything that you just went through. Something that I did not know that was so crazy to me was that I had to wait a little while to shower after I gave birth. So I gave birth around 1 a.m., didn't get back to my room till like 3 or 4, and I couldn't shower like until the next afternoon. Some people will let you shower after 4 hours, some postpartum nurses, but they just want to be super careful with your stitching and stuff if you have any. And so having to wait to shower, it was like super important to me that I had my own towels. And some people even say bring your own robe so you feel more comfortable. I just changed straight into my PJs, not a really big robe person, but this allowed me to feel super at home, super comfy, and the towels at the hospital are tiny. So that is my last recommendation of what to bring. There's a few more things though that the hospital will provide for you that you don't really need to bring yourself, and that's diapers and wipes. They have a ton of them. So unless you're super picky about what your child's gonna be wearing, don't worry about it. They will provide you with tons of Pampers and a sensitive skin wipe. So we personally love the Honest brand diapers and wipes, and we try to be a little bit more on the fragrance-free side of things, and we're a little bit more organic on things when we can be. But we went ahead and just used everything that they gave us, and they actually let us take home whatever diapers and wipes we did not use in the hospital. So that's a huge blessing. Also, postpartum care. They had disposable underwear for me. They had large pads. They had a peri bottle. They had basically Tucks, the witch hazel pads that are like super cooling and super helpful. They had those for me there. They also had like a benzocaine spray, and that was super helpful. And actually when I got home, I didn't even use any of my Frida kit. I just ended up using everything that was given to me at the hospital. I've heard great things about the Frida perennial foam and their peri bottle and stuff, but everything that I used at the hospital was working for me. I'm a creature of habit, so I just used that and it was great. Yeah, I didn't really bring much else, but it was a successful trip, and there was nothing else that I felt like I really wish I had that, except for maybe some more substantial food. So I would definitely recommend, if it's getting late and you know you're gonna be giving birth soon, go ahead and have your husband or someone DoorDash you something that would kind of keep well, because then maybe you can eat in the middle of the night, reheat something that would reheat well, and you'd be able to have a little bit of a meal in the middle of the night after that long awaited labor process. So best of luck to you mamas as you're going to the hospital. Good luck packing your bag. I know I had so much fun doing this. I'm such a planner, and it made it so fun for me to just feel like I could be as prepared as possible and have everything together. And so get your bags ready, get that cart seat in the car, get your diaper bag packed, and get ready to go because it's coming soon. And I am praying a easy delivery for you and a wonderful first few weeks with your baby. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.